Today, Precarious plays
Deus Ex, Human Revolution. So good news.
Mm-hmm.
I'm increasingly confident that we are off the boat.
Okay. I don't feel like I'm off the boat, but here we are. I'd like to see the sky, not near an ocean.
Yeah, I don't think that they would bother putting them this much overhead.
You're right.
on the boat.
That makes a lot of sense. Ugh, feels very boaty though. I don't know. No, that's a crane.
You know, I could see this much interior space, especially even with a door like that, maybe like on an aircraft carrier.
Yeah, that's what this reminded me of.
Yeah.
You know, oh, check out the words on the crane, on the big crane arm up top. It's like a, no, there. Freeze. That is crane tracks, 20-ton capacity. Wow! Big MFers! Anyway. Like 10 cars! 10 mid-sized sedans!
I just want to look over and see a crate labeled 10 mid-sized sedans.
There were crates earlier that were labeled Zach that I kept trying not to talk about, but here, it's come out now. And I don't know why they were labeled Zach.
Zach's a real popular dude?
I don't know. Popular enough to have his own brand of crate, I guess. I can think of one method of transport that I've always wanted to try that you have that I have not.
Mm-hmm.
Snowboarding. Snowboarding or skiing. Either one of those.
You haven't done either.
No. I have used sleds, ice skates, inner tubes, no skis, no snowboards. And at this point, I'd rather just hover. But in my youth, I would think that it would have been very fun. I was always a big fan of snow sports.
I think that snowboarding was a bit of a pain in real life, which brings me back to what I was talking about before. On the N64, there were two games that were, I think, very broadly popular. Maybe sort of like despite their genre. It was Wave Race 64.
Yeah.
And 1080 snowboarding.
I think I played a snowboarding game.
If it was on the N64, it was probably 1080 snowboarding.
I played at a friend's house, so it very much could have been.
Yeah, so those two games together inspired an enduring love for both of those methods of traversal. Like, it still brings a smile to my face. Shield surfing in Breath of the Wild,
Yeah.
makes me smile when it's in, like, snowy regions.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me of 1080 snowboarding.
Aww. I always wanted to not do tricks and jumps necessarily. Because I'm not a fan of the tricks and jumps, but I do like to go very fast in cold, clean air. Boy, skating is so fun. I never got really good at doing any of the, like, cutesy, figure skatey crap that they would try to get you to do, and here's the thing. I've taken classes in everything.
Wait a second.
Wait a minute.
Big weapons.
Weapons of mass distraction. But
I feel like somebody had played a Borderlands, and Borderlands, their funny nude magazine covers. Well, I mean, they were funny. That's just sort of
yeah.
It's not a good joke. It's not a good pun.
I don't know. Shoot, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I started to take skating lessons when I was a kid because one time I saw the Winter Olympics and that looked really fun, like ice dancing. And then I took lessons and figured out that actual ice dancing was, at least at early levels, was a lot less athletic and a lot more about pageant poses and fancy dresses.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I dig the fancy dresses, but I don't want to press my hands out and wiggle my butt while I skate across. I just want to go fast and do spins. You know? So I stopped taking lessons and then I just started going skating because it was really fun. And I've always really liked that feeling of like going fast in that like crispy cold environment. Like sledding and stuff. And I imagined that snowboarding or skiing would be extremely fun in the same way. I mean, definitely hurts when you fall down type of fun, but like very fun. Yeah, just speeding through powder. I always love doing that. And I just was never afforded the opportunity to try, you know? I mean, it's expensive to rent skiing gear.
So I'm much more dexterous and athletic than I might appear to the casual observer.
I don't know.
In which direction, madam?
You appear dexterous enough. You don't look like well...
Like a brick? Like I just don't look like a brick?
Well, okay, your bottom is entirely rounded, so maybe you do look like you would skid around a little bit, but...
Well, no, anyone who's ever seen a Yoshi in Smash Bros. Knows that that's not any problem.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is that, I lose all of that on ice and snow.
I know.
It's like tossing a cat out onto a sheet of ice.
A desert cat.
Yeah.
Not a mountain cat.
Like even when I would go snowboarding, I don't think I ever walked away from it. Period. I had to be carried away. No, not that bad. Metaphorically speaking, I don't think I would ever walk away from it completely intact.
I don't think that I have ever fallen down on ice skates.
Lucky you.
I mean, I have definitely, like, said very, very, frantic prayers while running into the side of a rink before, but I've never completely, like, toppled over. You know that thing where you see...
really harsh language while shoving a child out of the way, but...
Well, you know, like, most ice skating rinks that you get are hockey rinks, so they have like the side walls and stuff where you can like grab at least a little bit. You can at least lean there. But I don't know. I've always assumed that type of comfort in that weird environment would make me at least a little more tolerant of skiing and snowboarding. I've always assumed that I would not suck at it so entirely that I wouldn't want to play anymore, you know? Because sometimes, like, you try something, you find out you're really bad, and it's not interesting enough for you to continue, you know?
That's sort of how I feel about ice skating.
Oh.
Ice skating was fine whenever I was pre-teenage years, but then it's the same kind of problem that I had with snowboarding where...
Like your center of gravity changed.
Right, I had a growth spurt, and I was much taller, and it... Not only in like the short term was there that reduction in skill from being like a different shape.
Yeah.
But the failure state
was too tragic.
Was so much more harsh, yeah, because
you're falling harder from further up.
Yeah.
Ask Jensen. He puts on his lightning pants in the morning to avoid this.
So, what were we talking about? In the before now? Was there more you wanted to say?
No, I was just shooting the shit.
Don't do that. Shit's expensive.
About modes of transportation.
Are you Quinn?
Yeah, that's me. Jensen, is it? You weren't followed, were you?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I can believe that. They're having a hell of a time keeping up with you.
Firm.
I intend on keeping it that way.
Well, you've certainly ruffled a few feathers higher up. It's not like they don't know you're here. Stowed away on the ship, I mean. It's only a matter of time before they bring the hammer down. Put a stop to your gallivanting on the base. I just hope I'm not near you when the iron's hot and you're on the anvil.
Look, Keitner said you can help me. Can you?
Yeah, she told me to be expecting you. But that was ages ago. What are you trying to pull here? We're risking our lives diverting attention away from you, covering your tracks. There's limits to how much we can sweep under the rug before the dogs start digging. It's a good thing she can find your clearance to this section of the base. I'd hate to see where you'd end up otherwise.
I'm grateful, but can we get on with it? I understand you run a nice little sideline in procurement.
Aye. From time to time you might say being inclined to do a little, how should we call it? Bartering. On the side. Since the commander signed off on it, I suppose I could open my stock to you. For a price, that is.
You mean I have to pay?
What? Of course you have to bloody well pay. Ain't exactly a fucking armory quartermaster down here. I'm just a civvy contractor trying to make ends meet. This ain't a bleeding charity.
Considering the circumstances.
Circumstances? What, that you're a fugitive and I'm risking my neck just talking to you? What are you trying to pull here? Although, I don't suppose you had anything to do with the stasis pod that was saved back on the ship.
How do you know about that?
Ah, so it was you, eh? Well, let's just say I have my sources and your little random act of kindness didn't go unnoticed. Tell you what, I'll give you a discount on me wares. Just no freebies or handouts. But now that I think of it, if you're looking for a little something for nothing and don't mind a little legwork, I've got an errand that could use running. Consider it a special offer of sorts. You interested?
Then it's by definition not something for nothing. Okay. Well, I think we're gonna stop right here because I think I was reading a little bit on the internet trying to determine if the person in the pod was connected to later games in the franchise.
Yeah.
And I knew that this was gonna happen. There's something weird where like he has a Praxis kit for sale and it's possible to get 3 total from him, but there's an order of operations to achieve that, and I don't want to mess it up. So let's call it quits for right now.
Okay.
I gotta go.
Right. Do's both the